Hello and welcome to Lazy Language. As always, I'm gonna just share my side of learning languages, almost 7 to 8 years, and there's no cuts, no edits, nothing. It's just more genuine and more productive on my side. And to be fair, it's more fun to do this this way as well for me. So one of my main things in life is to have fun while doing something. Either I'm having fun doing this, or I'm having fun doing something I don't like, but making it fun for me. So I'm really excited to share this with everyone, but it's more fun to do this this way. So without further ado, this time, after having learned or having shared my 2 cents on how languages work and how to view a language and the layers I see in every single language, it's time to break down this language, this sandwich of languages that I've came up with. And for me, there are like many components to a language. One of them is the bread. Imagine a sandwich. I literally now just made a sandwich, and it was like pretty tasty and delicious. And to hold the sandwich together and to make the sandwich make sense and be structured, you need the bread. You need the bread to hold the burger, hot dog, bacon, whatever it is. And sorry for the vegans watching the videos. Yeah, I'm not vegan, and I'm not gonna like hold back with my like beefy metaphors. So the first section is the first part, the first component of a sandwich is the bread. Which for me, when it comes to languages, it's the structure, it's the mindset. And I've touched upon a little bit on the mindset part in the last videos. It's how you view a language, how you break down complex and not very much tangible stuff to simple and tangible like parts. For example, learning is just the speed of finding the answers for the questions you have emotional engagements with, and the layers of the language as well, just to understand how languages function. But the mindset and the breadth is just overall, it's just I'm gonna touch upon it in the next videos. But I'm just gonna in this video, I'm just gonna share the how do you call it, the components of this language, this sandwich of languages. So the first one is the bread, of course, and I'm a very like hungry person, and I really like this metaphor because it's tasty and has a pleasant weight to it, so it's more open to being well received by the masses as well, because it's just a simple concept. So the first component was or is the bread. And after the bread, after the mindset, I'm gonna go like further into it in the next videos. Like I'm gonna make videos for bread and other sections as well. I'm just getting started, so yeah. The next thing is the vocabulary. Okay, now you got the mindset right, but now you need to actually I don't know if you've seen that meme or not, but make the first step towards learning a language. So okay, I know this means what a language is, and funny enough, I recently started learning Russian, and this is July 4th, and I'm aiming to at least understand Russian by the end of July, like till B1 or even B2 level. It's quite a simple language based on what I see. And I've gone through this with so many languages, it's just another Sunday for me. So, and it depends, and based on the mindset as well. I'm all over the place, but bear with me, or cat with me, or coat with me. They call cat coat in Russian, which is quite funny. That's I don't approach languages to speak them, because speaking is just the least impressive part of a language for me. I enjoy like talking to natives here and there, but that's not my objective. I really like learn languages to understand it, to understand those like watching my last video, the third layer of the language, that's the layer that you cannot understand outside that language because of the emotional weight and cultural backing of that structure, that sentence, that verb for language. So for me, I'm okay if I understand the language and I never speak it. And I don't like claim I know multiple languages or stuff like that. And I don't, to be honest, care about it, because I'm enjoying I'm getting my enjoyment out of understanding multiple languages rather than speaking it. But I speak like here and there to improve upon my understanding rather than just to speak it, and more connection with other people. And because connecting with other people is based on energy and vibration level rather than the language. That tangent aside, the first thing, the first component after the bread is the vocabulary, which I call ingredients. Everything you put inside the bread. It could be like your cheese, your whatever vegetables like potato or bacon or whatever it is, and ingredients. Vocabulary is just as the German call it, Wortschatz. Word and Schatz, which means treasure. It's a treasury of words that enriches. I really love this verb. Enriches your language knowledge, and it makes it more polished. When you talk to someone and you use word dialect or vernacular, they understand, okay, you have kind of an academic mindset about this like structural thing you're talking about, or every single word is associated with certain weights behind it, and its implied weight gives the energy and gives the vibe, the vibration off to the other person, or just in general communication of what you actually mean. So it's very important to have a great and solid basis of word chats. So what to learn is like literally where to go buy the ingredients for your sandwich. Do you go to the local store? Do you like order it from across the country? Or it depends on what you need. For example, if you need to or like to learn a certain language for day-to-day conversation, you learn those words. I know it's not rocket science, but people somehow get it wrong every time. If you want to go to academic sphere, you go and read like articles, books that are constantly using those words, and you literally use vocabulary to improve your expression, to improve the taste, the, how do you say, the value of your sandwich. So you don't, someone doesn't like garlic, someone doesn't like onion rings, or like I really love olive and I use olive every time, even olive oil and stuff that I'm cooking. So it depends what you like, what's your like cup of tea, or like your burger in this metaphor. So language, but every language needs like the basis of some words. For example, you need to learn hello, you need to learn like how are you, dog, cat, and the day-to-day stuff. As with the sandwich, you always need to have like bare minimum of cheese or potato. No matter which kind of cheese you are going with, you actually need some sort of cheese or butter to make it tasty. You never cook without oil, in a sense. So this is how I view vocabularies. And after I know I'm gonna go deeper with every section in its own video, but now I'm just giving you an overview of how I view languages. So the next thing is the meat and not potato, the meat of the language. You don't call a sandwich without the meat even a sandwich, because there always needs to be the burger, the steak, the even chicken in the middle of the sandwich to call it a certain sandwich, because the notion of concept of sandwich is dependent of having like the main thing, which is the beef, which is the steak, which is the burger within it. So for a language, I think the grammar is the meat. I know it's nonsense, and people don't like grammars, and I don't like grammars either, but when you understand the grammar, it's like math problem. You don't like math because you're not good at it. With everything, you're actually more enthusiastic towards what you know and what you're good at. And funny thing is that you are getting good at something by doing it a lot, and by spending a lot of time doing it, you will actually, I know I use actually like out of wazoo so many times, but roll with it, the more time you spend with it. For example, I really didn't like German because my mindset was so like limited, but when I learned German, it's one of my favorite languages, to be honest, because as I think it's Abraham Lincoln that says, hey, I don't know that, I don't like that man, let's get to know him better. And it's this sentence, this quote reminds us that you don't actually, there's the actually again, you don't in fact hate something. Hate is just a form of misunderstanding something, or just not viewing from a different perspective, not having enough knowledge about something. When I think about some things I hate, it's always something I have some bias towards, because I know the counter argument to that thing better than the argument that I hate. For example, when I hate someone, I don't usually hate someone, I just ignore people, because if I hate someone, I automatically remove them from my life and I don't remember them at all. But say I hate like ringed onion on my sandwich. Yeah, this is the taste, this is like a preference. But when you talk about like some notions, for example, I hate like which language do I hate? I hate like to learn Chinese, because on one hand, Chinese is not that audibly pleasing to my ears, and on the other hand, it's basically the root of Japanese. The kanji that is like 1/3 of Japanese language system of writing is basically the Chinese thing. And I play so many like Chinese games here and there, but I never like it never grew on me. And recently, I've been finding like so many Chinese friends, and like 6 or 7 in a month, which is crazy. And nowadays, I talk to anyone, he is or she is a Chinese out of like pure coincidence. But now those people, those like friendly people, those decent people I've come in contact with, are changing my perception of the language itself. I'm like, hey, I have like 3 or 5 quite intellectual like Chinese friends, and I like their way of thinking. Maybe this is associated with their culture, their language, and I truly like believe this, because I always like to talk to Latinos because they're so warm, and their warmth is just contagious. From the start of a conversation, they're just so friendly, and I really associate this with their lifestyle, with their like weather, their culture, their language to some extent. So I'm more enthusiastic towards learning or hearing a new song in Spanish rather than Chinese, because of my limited thinking about that specific language. So that tangent aside, it's just hate. It's just most of the time it comes to preference, or just literally not having understood the concept pretty well. In the case of onion rings, it's preference. Yeah, of course. I remember I was eating this kind of fruit that my friend didn't like at all, and it's my favorite fruit. And I still to this day don't understand. This fruit tastes amazing, but he didn't like it at all. So it's a matter of preference. I get that. But when it comes to like concepts and ideas, if you understand 2 ideas equally and with the same amount of depth, you will have a very hard time choosing between them, because you now understand, okay, this isn't like out of wazoo, and this isn't like an asshole either. So both make sense in their own right. So it's actually now, again, matter of preference. So moving on from the ingredients that are the vocabulary, the meat that is the, how you call it, the grammar. The fourth layer is the fourth component of the language is the secret sauce, I call it, because secret sauce is literally elevating the flavor. It's a complete sandwich without a sauce, but when you add the sauce, it's just that's like the X factor, the extra oomph of the flavor. And the secret sauce has always been for me the most interesting part, as it involves the culture. The secret sauce of learning any language is the culture, and the more you delve into the culture, the more you understand the language. For example, in my layers video, my last video, I mentioned the notion of the third layer, which is why do you say, okay, to kick a dead horse in one language, which to imply act of a useless act, but in another language is akudo pedon lo, which is a strike of sword in the middle of ocean, fairly like translated word by word. Both represent like useless act, but what is interesting to me is that, okay, why do you say this way in this language, and why do you say it the other way in other language? For example, some of them are like basically the same. To be pushed into a corner or to pass the torch, it's almost the same in every single European language and American language, because they have the concept of Olympics that is widespread like amongst all of them. So to pass the torch literally is coming from the Olympics. When you pass the torch to the next person to continue the marathon or to continue the run in the Olympics. And I don't watch Olympics, but there is the similar act of passing the how do you say, the flag to the next person represented in the current version of Olympics. So that's why, for me at least, and the funny thing about this is not that this is correct or not. The moment you associate a thing to this notion, you will learn it. You will never forget it, because you have emotional connection to this at this point. And even, I'm sure, like this 90% sure that this passing of the torch comes from the Olympics. If it's even not from that, it convinces me that, okay, this is why so many languages have this word-by-word translated into the other language, or to be pushed into a corner. In Spanish, in French, and in English, it's the same thing, because it comes from the boxing sport. So when you are pushed into a corner, or your back is against the wall, all these metaphors are literally coming from the boxing matches or from sports that are common between these languages. So to test this theory, you could go to the same concept. Okay, to be pushed back to a corner means to have limited options, or to have odds stacked against you, which is a gambling kind of a metaphor. And take these metaphors in this language and compare them to another language or another culture that they don't have, like a sport like boxing or gambling. I'm sure 90%, 99% even, the metaphor is more in tune to their style of living. It's to imply the same thing, but with different point of view. So this is very important to understand how culture is like literally the secret sauce of any language. You understand languages on deeper level, and you enjoy them way more when you are more in tune with the culture behind it. And in my third layer part of layers video, I mentioned the grammatical nuances between language to language, and I associated those to different cultures, different lifestyles, and stuff like that. So this is, to recap this video, this is the introduction of 4 components, main components of every language that I view it, and even I teach the languages based on these components, because everything starts with the bread. Every sandwich has the bread. If not, it's like a mess. You could have the best beef, the best like burger, best the cheese, potatoes, and even the sauce, but you need to hold it together to be able to eat it. This is like a no-brainer. So the mindset is very important. Without the mindset, you just know random words for every single language, and you cannot even understand it, or you filter out. I recently saw this video, which was very helpful for me to complete my business model of lazy language, and it was like we filter out sounds that are not familiar to us. He was talking about languages, but I go a level like deeper. It's like you are in a like different settings. You don't understand people what they're saying. It's in the middle of party or whatever, and the noises are so loud. You don't like make out the. You're not making out, but you don't make out the sounds that you hear. It's so many sounds. But amidst all the chaos, if someone pronounces your name, you're gonna catch it, because you're sensitive to the sound and to the mouth movements of your name. And whenever someone mentions you, you literally pick up that sound amidst all the chaos. And this is about how every language works. So the mindset is very crucial and important, and I call it the bread. The next thing is the potato, cheese, like onion rings, whatever you like to call it, the ingredients inside this bread that I call it vocabulary. And some of them you need to use and you need to learn no matter what is your purpose of learning a language, like hello, how are you, and the day-to-day words. But some of them, like precipice. Precipice is not a word you're gonna encounter like ever in your life, unless it's a kind of a literature, or you read like Shakespeare or something, or it's like a very deep philosophical concept that is being tackled. And the next thing was is the meat of a language, the burger, the center, the core, what defines a language. That I call it the grammar, because grammar is literally the whole taste of a language, the whole structure, what to do and what to not to do of a language, compressed in a single meat. It's literally the sandwich, but it's not. You don't just put meat inside of bread and just call it a sandwich. You still need the other components, but without the meat, you don't even call it a sandwich. You may call it a sandwich if you got like cheese, meat, and bread. That's a sandwich. But without the meat, without the burger, whatever you put inside of it, which is the most valuable taste and flavor of the sandwich, you don't even call it a sandwich. And the third and the last component, the fourth component, is the secret sauce that elevates the taste of a language and the joy you get from language. So that's the video, and I hope this was useful information for everyone starting to learn a new language. And I'm very excited to see with this a newly perspective of me teaching how to learn languages and myself learning Russian, like trying to learn Russian to understand it quite well in a month. I'm pretty curious, like I'm quite curious to see where this goes. This is a fun journey for me, both for the first time, both learning a language and teach how to learn a language at the same time. It's a quite interesting journey that I'm on. And if you like the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, you're a bad person. Yeah, I'm gonna guilt trip you to the oblivion. Yeah, if you didn't like the video, reflect on life and be a better person. But joking aside, if you didn't like the video, comment down below what you didn't like about it. What are the like information I could give that are more helpful, or any wrong info I think you think I'm sharing here. I'm here to learn as well as share what I've learned. So I'm always more excited to learn rather than share the already like locked down stuff with others. I'm a student for life, and yeah, I enjoy being a student more than the teacher. Teachers learn as well, but students are just infinite amounts of questions that are unanswered, and the journey to learn is more important for me than to teach. But they both have their values, and both have some similarities as well. Have an all-worthy day. Have a great weekend almost, yeah. And till the next one, peace.